Did a recent federal court decision suddenly allow the ownership of machine guns in America? I woke up this morning to an email from a viewer who asked me if this is true, which is kind of a weird thing because I'm not a gun channel, I'm not a gun guy, I am a SIG guy, and there is a big difference. Now, machine guns aren't technically illegal in the US, but they are very tightly controlled. Since the 1929 St. Valentine's Day Massacre in Chicago, spurred the National Firearms Act in 1934. But you were still allowed to buy a machine gun, you just had to pay a $200 tax, and that was prohibitively expensive for a lot of people. Then in 1986, Congress passed the Firearms Owner Protection Act, which said that only the government could buy new machine guns, but civilians who own machine guns were allowed to keep them or even transfer them as long as the person they're transferring to paid that $200 tax. So the pool of machine guns available for civilian purchase was essentially frozen in time to everything made before 1986. So what is this particular case? Now, I am not a lawyer, but I actually read the decision. So it looks like this guy, BRYCE BROWN, had a machine gun in his home. So it doesn't sound like he was robbing a 7-Eleven with it. It doesn't sound like he was at the range with it, shooting it. It sounds like the crime here was just possession of an unregistered machine gun. Now, what's interesting is that District of Columbia versus Heller, which was a Supreme Court decision from 2008 striking down blanket bans on pistols, said there's a historical tradition of prohibiting the carrying of dangerous and unusual weapons. So there's no doubt a machine gun is dangerous. I mean, all weapons are dangerous, but is it unusual? Now, outside of the military, I've only seen a machine gun once. It was at firing line range in Philadelphia. The dude had an Israeli Uzi. It even had the Hebrew markings on the selector switch. So that gun was certainly unusual to me. But the decision said there's 740,000 machine guns legally possessed in America. So the government was certainly able to prove that machine guns were dangerous, but it couldn't also prove that the firearm is both dangerous and unusual. And 74,000 lawfully possessed machine guns in the U.S. is not unusual. So does that mean I can go out and buy a squad automatic weapon today? Yeah, I wish, dude. I'm a YouTuber. I'm famous, not rich. But since the case is in Mississippi, I guess this would go to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals next? So it doesn't look like you can go to Bass Pro today and buy a new machine gun, but it does look like this is working its way through the courts in a positive manner. So what kind of machine gun would you buy? Let me know in the comments below. I'd probably buy the M7, but I am a typical SIG guy.